really cute and doing great.
Has such an engaging personality when you talk with her. What a great ambassador for the sport of women's wrestling, and she is ready to go at it. Shake of the hands, and we are underway here in the semifinal at 50 kilos. Reigning Olympic gold medalist Yui SUSAKI, Japan, coming out in the red. Her opponent from the People's Republic of China, FENG Ziqi, and a quick stoppage 14 seconds into the first period. Go ahead.
I think today was the first day ever where she lost a point at the first match. The first ever I saw scored on her at the first moment of the matching match. But then she turned it and won 12-0. So a really strong performance in the morning right now. And yeah, trying to get the next final match here at Worlds.
You bring up the rare point of her giving up a point. She did not concede a single point in her run to Olympic glory. That's how dominant Yui SUSAKI was. The Olympic gold medalist did not concede a point the entire Olympic tournament. Went into Tokyo as one of the 2 designated flag bearers for the country. So you talked about how this country just really treasures their star in this sport. She is so highly regarded. And you see some of her technical prowess right here, able to get the takedown. She's so good at that chain wrestling. She'll smother the Chinese wrestler down, but it looks like a pretty good job underneath with the parterre defense from FENG Ziqi. So we go back to the feet.
Yeah, you have only this one chance to get your knees up, and that she can close them for the leg lace. And now FENG, she did really good, and contender. Oh, no, she's trying. Not bad. I like the Asian wrestling style. They are both so fast legs and always attacking, trying to get to score on the legs and always moving. Oh, no, she's holding her arm tight. You see she's pulling it in that SUSAKI can't go over or behind. Really good job from FENG.
Yeah, we've seen Ziqi come out here on a couple of shots in this first period. 2 minutes in, SUSAKI with the takedown, 2-0 lead. Look at that quickness as she went from the arm down to the lower body attack. Let's see the hip strength now from FENG Ziqi.
Yeah, she's doing a really great leg defense here. And you see how flexible everybody is. The hips are so deep. Oh.
No points awarded there, as FENG thought maybe she might get exposure, but referee said no, and it got confirmed from the judge. In the meantime, SUSAKI clears the head, gets it out to the side.
I like that the referees are waiting a little bit now and not scoring directly, because as an athlete, if you watch on the scale and everything is different, then you act not like you should be. And now I think they are waiting a little. I think now it's done. They don't giving up the 2 for FENG, but it's better to rate and then to decide after.
Boy, you could just see FENG Ziqi trying to keep that arm braced and not give up any more exposure points, but she couldn't quite do it as the Japanese star was able to give exposure late in that first period. So a typical 3 minutes of wrestling from Yui SUSAKI. Meanwhile, for FENG Ziqi, thought she wrestled a pretty good first period.
Yeah, now you see the referees are going together and talking about the situation, maybe to change, but I think they are okay with the score. And this is much better than before, I think. That they take their time for the decisions. It's so difficult sometimes and so fast that you can't even see it directly.
Yeah, and it looks like they have taken away the danger points there, the exposure points, so it's just the 2 takedowns for SUSAKI. Now, the Japanese corner is realizing that. That all happened while the wrestlers were in the corners. The referee went over to the mat chairman. They had a brief discussion, and they took away the 4 extra points that they had awarded. So once Japan found that out, they pushed the challenge button. So they want those points back, and that's what is going to be delaying the start of this second period as they take another look at it. If you're new to international wrestling, you have the three-person group officiating the action on the mat with the referee, the judge, and the mat chairman. You see the referee standing front and center. But when it goes to a replay, it's an independent review committee, almost serves as a jury that goes through the replay. The wrestlers and the athletes, as you see the corners taking a look up at the Jumbotron, they are able to follow along in real time as our review committee rewinds, fast forwards, and goes through the issue at challenge. And in this case, it's exposure late in that first period.
And I think now they are watching the whole situation. It begins much earlier, the scrambling for these points, and now everything could be changed. I think for me it was an exposure.
You say no exposure?
It was. Yes,
it was.
It
okay.
was. But in slow motion, everything looks a little bit different sometimes. So these decisions are really difficult. So I would go 6-2 for SUSAKI right now. But of course, I am not the referee. It's better.
We tried to play the guessing game with Dake and Sidikov last night. We had two huge challenges toward the tail end of that thrilling bout.
Yeah.
The sport just happens so quickly, and with the angles and getting the view, very difficult job to be a referee, and that's why they have these replays to try to do their part to make sure they get the call right, even though it might take a little bit longer, as in this case, because this whole exchange, as you talked about, went about 50 to 55 seconds from the initial shot there by SUSAKI.
And of course, the wrestlers want to go on, but I think it's so much better to take your time to do the right decisions, because it's so important here for everyone. It's a semi-final. It's about to take you to the Olympic Games, and so they should take their time and talk about it like they do now.
What do you do as an athlete when you have these prolonged delays? You're just out there all by yourself in the center.
Sometimes my coach talked to me and said, oh, go breathing, take your time. Doesn't matter what happened. You have to go on with your own thing, and you have to do your own style again. But of course, the situation can change a lot.
Well, Aline, I think you nailed it.
Yeah, and now you see the Japanese corner won because they have to change the numbers, but it's not that better than before. It's not that big win, I think.
The only good news is they still get a challenge to use.
Yeah, that's it. And for us, it's nice because it's a little bit closer right now, and it's going to be great. 3 minutes to go.
Well, we talked about it. We both felt FENG Ziqi wrestled a really good first period, but we thought it was going to be a 6-8 point deficit. Well, it turns out with the challenge, it's just a 2-point deficit, so rewarded for a really tactical 3 minutes. SUSAKI into the second period, leading by 2. Comes in on that low shot again.
And again, you see how flexible everyone is and trying to scramble, and look at the neck. I think for other person not from this board, they are going crazy sometimes with our ankles and necks and knees. And now she got it. Great job.
She just stuck with it, just kept working her way up the lower half, driving the Chinese counterpart to the edge and getting the takedown. So a 6-2 lead, SUSAKI able to get a little separation.
And she's got the patience, you know. She's not doing that fast. Sometimes this is the problem, that you can get rolled over. But now she took the patience, bring her head up and their feet down, that she can come over and took the 2 points.
And you won't see her slow down. She is one of those wrestlers, even with the lead, she believes in offense. And you see her, the ability to change corners quickly. Started left, comes back to the right side of the body. Brief tripod up from FENG Ziqi. But SUSAKI just stays hammering down on the right side of the body. And she gets the takedown, so an 8-2 lead. One thing FENG has been able to do, she has prevented the chain wrestling that we have seen so many times from the Japanese wrestlers, in particular SUSAKI, after that initial takedown.
Yeah, that's the reason why her matches are always that short for SUSAKI, because she's really great at the job to continuing and getting the lace or something in the parterre position and doing some, multiple points. Most 10 points in one action. So here FENG is doing such a great job in pretending, and everything gets a little bit closer.
SUSAKI, coached by Shoko Yoshimura, the 5-time world champion, has taught her since the age of 13. You know the value of a coach, especially with longevity and the relationship, that special bond between coach and athlete.
And now you see this deep standing position. It's so hard to score on her because she's standing that deep and still moving with the legs. If you're just staying deep and you're not able to move and to circle, it's difficult. But sometimes I think both of them doing great, but sometimes I think SUSAKI is born to wrestle with all of her body and of her heart.
Final few moments, arm drag there late by SUSAKI. And once again, Yui SUSAKI with a 4-2 lead after one. She tacks on a couple of more takedowns, a familiar sight for Team Japan. Arms raised in victory, a bow of respect to all the fans here inside Stark Arena. And SUSAKI marches her way right back into the World Championship match tomorrow night.
And you see, she's not taking it for granted. This is also a thing of respect for your contender and your partner. So I like that she's always happy and celebrating her victories. It's not